Hello, here we are with what you actually need to know when learning a new language. We're going to narrow this down to 3 things, which are also outlined in the blog post on my website, so you can check that out as well. We're looking at first, number 1 is so back up a minute, okay? What you need to know is really going into language learning from the most simple, most minimalistic, most productive, most successful language learning mindset and strategies, and really taking away all the fluff and all of the things that we can do to make things prettier or faster, or just to do all of the things that are just thrown at us all the time, and it's okay, well, what do I actually need? So this is for the person who has invested in all of the things and still feels like they're not getting anywhere with their language learning. This is what you actually need to know. Number 1 is to believe that you are capable of learning the language. So this is just you. This doesn't cost you anything. This is you. This is your belief in yourself. And this is the most important aspect of learning a language, because if you don't believe that you can, you won't. You just won't. When you get to trying to solve problems, when you get to a frustrating point, an embarrassing point, a frightening point, like speaking in front of someone else, and you don't have that belief that you can, it's going to make it that much more difficult to overcome that challenge. Whereas if you believe that you can, you have that I am capable belief, and you really, really, truly believe that. And this is not an easy thing for everyone to develop. So if you don't have that and you're how do I do that? I don't know. You're not alone in that. But this is crucial to develop. And having that belief moves you forward through language learning, because if you have that, then you will keep going no matter what. And you will find ways, even when you encounter those challenges, those setbacks, and you'll say, okay, this was just that, a setback. Let me find a different way. So this is going to propel you forward in your language learning and make those obstacles just that, obstacles, instead of reasons that you might stop or give up on your language learning. Okay, the second part here is what you're doing right now, which is to educate yourself. And educate yourself is a very broad instruction guideline tip, is that when you educate yourself, sure, you're learning a language, you're educating yourself, but on the more holistic approach of educating yourself, this means to be well-rounded. It means to read. I think I stressed that in the article on the blog, is read. Read anything, everything you can. And not to the point of oh, I have to do this thing, I have to read all these things. No. But allow yourself to be naturally curious about learning anything. And that's what I mean by read anything and everything, is follow that innate curiosity that you have. And if you feel like you don't have it, you do have it. It's there. It might be buried, but it's there. And when you follow that and you continue educating yourself, a few things happen. It becomes easier to read, to obtain information, to process information, which you'll need in language learning. And you learn how to focus your energy and your studies, but also your studies become less of studies. They become more of just a thing that you do that is fun, that you're passionate about. And when you mix that in with language learning, it just changes the entire process into something else, something other than just studying. And when you educate yourself, this can mean that you go out and you do the reading, you do a lot of independent work. Like, that's definitely a form of self-education. Going to school is also self-education when you actually do the work. Your teachers, your mentors, your instructors, anyone who's there, they're not there to, in today's world they kind of are there to do this, but they're not meant to be there to just throw information at you and have you memorize all these facts and to regurgitate those and say, okay, good job, you learned, you're done. No. The real purpose is to have a mentor, I think is my favorite word for a teacher or someone who helps you along your language learning journey or any educational journey in your path, because the job there is for that person to help you learn. Like, you have to be the learner. No one can learn for you. And when you understand that as well, like, there's just a big shift that happens because you change your perspective from looking at this person as like, oh, you have all the knowledge, like, give it to me, to I'm learning, this is my path, I'm interested in these things, oh, I'm reading this thing, oh, this is interesting. And then, come in with questions, come in with like, oh, I want to learn more about this, what do you think about this? And you approach the content even that you learn with that teacher differently, because you have that background of I'm already educating myself and I have questions, and also the practicing of educating yourself and just doing the work makes it easier to then learn the information, the content that that teacher has for you, because your brain is already accustomed to acquiring new information. So there's really a lot to that, and that goes hand in hand with believing that you are capable, because you're just extremely unlikely to move along that path of being that person who does the work, educates yourself, and does all these things if you're not already of that mindset, like, yes, I believe that I can. So those two, we're at 2. And number 3 is the effort, perseverance, determination. I got something like that on the blog. And this effort really is the key word here. Is that you have this belief that you're capable, you have the education, you're learning, you're obtaining this education, and then you have the effort that moves you through those paths of that belief and then that education. You have to also be applying your effort, you have to persevere through those challenges, and it's kind of like that belief in that you're capable, but it's more directly that effort, because I suppose it's possible to apply the effort even when you don't believe that you can. If you have someone like pushing you enough, you can potentially do that. But when you have all 3 of these together, the effort, the education, and that belief in being capable, you are pretty much unstoppable at that point. Like, fluency is on your path. It's like it's within reach at that point. So those are your 3, what you actually need for language learning. And everything else is the books, the courses, the fancy stationery, the notebooks, all of the fancy pens, everything, all of that. Like, that's cool. It can be fun if you like that for your style, but you don't need it. You don't need any of those things. And I recommend that you start with these three. These are what you need, and look at what you already have, because you likely already have unused books. You have all of YouTube. You have all of these things that are available to you at your fingertips, and that's very likely enough, at least to get started at this point. And that's enough. And then all of those other pieces, should you choose to add them in, cool, great, go for it. But know that those are things that you are adding in on top. And when you can't do those things, or feel like those things don't work anymore, and those things being the courses or the accessories or any of those things, the tutors, any of those, when those don't work for you anymore, or you can't afford those things, or you have whatever setback, know that you are enough, you have enough. You may have to work a little harder when you don't have access to those other resources, but you are enough. And should you choose to use those extra resources to expedite your process, or to just to use them because you want to, you go, you do that. But you are enough as you are with what you have. You just need to spend some time reflecting, looking at what you have, and putting in those three key pieces there. All right, and you have me in the comments. So if you have any questions, comments, anything, drop it down below, and I will be responding to those. And then I will see you guys on the blog, on the website. It's down below as well. And then next time, likely next week, and another video. Bye guys!